The Islam Qala border is a cloud of dust and desperation. Families, exhausted and empty-handed, trudge back into Afghanistan, fleeing not toward hope, but away from danger. Children cling to parents, their faces streaked with dust and fear. The journey has stripped them of everything but memories and each other. They left Iran because the world changed overnight. And now the only path left is the one they once escaped. The Afghan side is no homecoming, just another unknown. What will we do there? A man whispers, echoing the silent dread of the crowd. The border guards process the endless line, eyes unreadable. These people are caught between two worlds, belonging to neither. The country they return to is ruled by the Taliban, poverty rampant, security uncertain. For many, Afghanistan is a faded memory, not a future. They step from one crisis into another, resilience stretched to breaking. The border is not just a line, it's the edge of a precipice. Here, hope is a luxury, and survival is the only plan. The dust settles on everything, but not on their determination to keep moving. This is the reality for thousands caught in a borderland of fear. Iran was once a fragile sanctuary for over 4 million Afghans. They worked, built communities, and raised children who spoke Farsi and called Iran home. Their lives were woven into Iran's fabric, neighbors, workers, friends. But most lived in legal limbo, always outsiders, always uncertain. They dreamed only of normalcy, school, work, safety. When conflict erupted, their borrowed peace vanished. Suddenly they were vulnerable again, trapped between a war-torn host and a homeland they barely recognized. The sanctuary became a new source of fear. War returned to Iran with terrifying speed. Sirens replaced the sounds of daily life. Fear crept into every home. For Afghan refugees, it was a nightmare revived. Jobs disappeared, prices soared, and suspicion grew. Suddenly, we were the enemy again, one refugee said. The choice: stay and face war and poverty, or return to Taliban-ruled Afghanistan. Families debated, but survival made the decision for many. Leaving men abandoning years of hard-won stability. It wasn't hope that drove them out, but desperation. They ran not toward a better life, but desperation. They ran not toward a better life, but away from a more immediate threat. The cycle of displacement continued, relentless and cruel. Nasima Ghaffari fled Afghanistan as a child, built a life in Iran, and lost it all. Twice. For 20 years, Iran was her world, family, work, peace. Then war returned, and everything unraveled. Her husband lost his job, food and rent became impossible. We had to leave, Nasima says. There was no choice. She packed memories and school books, leaving behind the home she'd made. The journey back was chaos. Crowded trucks, hungry children, fear everywhere. Now, in a camp in Afghanistan, her family lives in a tent, strangers in their own country. Her husband searches for work. Her children fetch water instead of going to school. Nasima tries to hold her family together, but grief lingers. How do you explain to a child that the world has turned against you twice? Nights are for silent tears, mourning a life lost and a future uncertain. She is one of thousands forced to start over again. The pain of exile is now a generational wound. The border crossing is chaos. Thousands pressed against gates, desperate to escape. Afghan and Pakistani families share the same fate, the same uncertainty. Children are lost in the crowd. People faint from exhaustion. Documents are checked, belongings searched, checked, belongings searched, checked, belongings searched, but many have nothing left. The wait is endless. Days under the sun, nights on the ground. Disease and hunger stalk the border, dignity stripped away. Once across, the struggle continues. Overcrowded camps, scarce aid, no clear future. The border is not a gateway to safety, but to a new crisis. Displacement knows no nationality. It consumes all in its path. For these families, survival is the only certainty. Amid despair, small acts of hope persist. In a camp near Herat, women sew together, reclaiming dignity and community. Children fly kites made from plastic bags, laughter defying hardship. A former teacher draws letters in the dirt, teaching kids to read. A baker builds a mud oven, sharing bread with neighbors. These are not grand gestures, but the beginnings of new lives. Their resilience is a quiet defiance, a reminder that humanity endures. Hope is fragile here, but it is alive, waiting for the world to notice and help.